Good day, Facebook. I am Marcia Gordon, CEO and founder of Marcia's Healthcare Registry. We are located in Broward and Palm Beach. Our numbers are 954-816-2170. And today is Health and Wellness Thursday, and I am waiting on my guest, which is Dr. Karen Lewis. And we also have a special guest that will be joining us. So I'm waiting on Dr. Karen to come on live. Okay, so while we wait, let's talk about the quote for today. The quote for today is, a good way to overcome stress is to help others out of their stress. April is the month of stress awareness, and we have different guests that will be sharing the way they handle stress throughout the day. So at this time, I will have Maureen Lowe just briefly tell us how she handles stress on her job and on a day-to-day.
Good afternoon, Facebook. I want to thank you, Marcia, for having me joined your live.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here. I am so happy that you're talking about that because we know April is stress month.
Yes.
And there are so many people right now who are going through a lot of stress and do not have an exit or a way out.
Right.
And as a person who experienced that, I am so happy to join you to talk about it, to talk about my own experience and how I overcome.
Okay.
Now, as a woman of God, Marcia, I don't want to leave that out because that plays such an important role in my life. I was brought up was born in the church. My mom was in the church, doing church when her water broke. So I hospital. She had to just get into the house, and by the time she get there, and the house was like one step from the house to the church. So I was living.
Okay.
I was actually born in the church.
Wow. Okay, just pause for a minute. I just want to welcome Dr. Lewis. Yeah. Hey, Karen.
Okay.
Yeah, we have our guest on. Her name is Lorna Lowe.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lorna.
Maureen.
Maureen, sorry.
No worries.
Yes.
So as I was saying, for me, as a brought up in church ministry, my dad was a minister, so that plays a very important role in my life.
Right.
Maybe that has formed the foundation of how I handle stress. Now, stress is something that often leads to various types of psychological deterioration, and by extension, it can affect the physical. Psychologically, become anxious, become depressed, and that weighs heavily on the physical, causing a lack or difficulty in sleeping, headaches, and poor sleeping habits can also lead to difficulty concentrating and focusing. So these challenges, stress challenges, manifest in many different ways, and especially when there's ongoing tension and conflict, whether in your life, on the job, in your relationship. Now, for me, I work a very stressful job, and although I like what I do and it's really helping others, it can be really burdensome at times. But what I try to do is to take deep breaths. I do a lot of breathing. I just make sure that I am drinking enough water. I also, have my snacks in between, my healthy snacks like
Right.
nuts and grains, or a piece of fruit or an apple or something. Of the grape, seeds of grape. So that is one of the nutrition is very important in that, because sometimes we're stressing out our jobs. We want to do this, we want to get this done, and we forgot to eat, we forgot to drink water, or we forgot our nutrition. So my coping skill is I take my breaks when I need to take my breaks, and I do something positive during my break. Sometimes you take a break from work, but you still work.
Yeah,
What?
that's true. Mhm.
You take a break from work, you're still doing work. So I try not to do that. I try to go exercise or just do something different from what I'm doing. So that's one of a couple of the ways that I you know um the stress of my job. And my way is not always the best way to cope with challenges. There are many different type of coping techniques. There's the two major ones that I know of is like it could be problem based, could be emotional based. But my job is really emotional because I'm dealing with the arena of people who are what I would say the seniors and so sometimes they don't really understand what they're doing. They don't understand the processes, and they become emotional too. And I have to deal with that. So how do I take care of my own emotions while I'm taking somebody else's emotion? So that's the reason why when you do get a break, just do something else. Don't go back. Don't work. I remember many years ago when I was working, I used to take work home, and a friend said to me, "You're taking work home? You just leave work. Why are you taking work home?" And I didn't understand. Actually, he was a doctor, and he, "Are you taking work home?" I said, and he says, "Don't do that." And I stopped doing that. But it's just you have to take time off for yourself, and not just and you got to go out, meet other people, do other things, get into a club or community of persons, or just kind of like love on yourself when you're not at work, just somewhere else. So those of my coping. And one of the other thing I do, I listen to a lot of music. I will blast my television set on Brooklyn Tabernacle, and I will just sing and praise and worship. So those are outlets, and so that's how I cope.
Okay. Thank you for sharing with us today.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you could stay on. Karen, a chance to go ahead and say something now, Karen? You could hear me, Karen?
Yeah, what did you say?
No, I was giving you a chance to go ahead and talk now.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with what Maureen, that's her name,
Yeah,
Maureen said. And stress, yes, there are many ways to handle stress. Now remember, stress is a natural part of life. Stress is a natural part of life. There's no way we can avoid stress in our lives. The moment we come into being, we're exposed to different stresses in one way or the other. Even a child has stresses. It could be stresses of separation anxiety, and that's a stress in a child, in an infant, in a baby. Nobody's around, they start to cry. That's their stress. The thing about it is that the parent is there to allay the fears and also to relieve the stress by being there. So yes, everybody is exposed to some form of stress in your life. The problem is, or let's say the problem is how you deal with the stress. So we all have stress. It's the prolonged period of stress that causes the problems that we have, whether it's going to be emotional, physical, mental, but it is the duration of the stress. So we're exposed to stress. And how we deal with stress is important. And you have to realize that different people deal with stress differently. And that's just what it is. It's our makeup, it's our it's who we are, it's our environment, how we were brought up, and a number of factors that actually determine our reaction to stress. So stress can affect us in many, many ways. And there are lots of people who will turn to um, alcohol. Some people smoke, some people take drugs, some people just have this reckless living, some people overeat, some people undereat, some people don't sleep. And there are a number of things. And as a result of all of these, um, ways of dealing with stress, sometimes it leads to more stress and it actually leads to damage to our bodies.
Right.
So, as Maureen said, she learned that she can relax. And that's a good way. You need to learn to take care of me.
Sure.
Get some me time. Whatever you like. She likes music and singing and praising. Fine. Somebody might like going to the beach. Somebody might like to take a walk.
Yeah.
But if you notice when you're stressed, you're fatigued, you have no energy, you're listless, you're not sleeping well. So of course the cycle repeats itself. But that is when you really should exercise. I'm telling you, you never know the wonders of exercise. It releases these happy hormones
Yes,
that make you, that change your mood completely. Be stressed. I'm not saying the stress is not there or whatever, the inciting factor is still there, but the way you deal with it, the 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 the, the jogging, the walking, the sitting at the lake and just get lost in the water, daydream, whatever it is, be unrealistic dreams, whatever it's gonna take. Spend some time with your friends. We're social beings, guys. When you're stressed, the worst thing to do is to lock up in your house. That is the worst thing. Find somebody who you can talk to. Go somewhere. Locking up by yourself and crying and dealing with the stress is not going to make the stress go away. It's going to make it worse. And we're going to damage ourselves, because when you're stressed, your blood pressure goes up, you're mashing up your immune system, you're actually exposing yourself to any little thing that comes your way. As I said to you, there are lots of women who go through divorces and they end up being so stressed for so long. The next thing you know, oh my God, she has breast cancer. They go through different stressors and they end up with different problems. Am I on? So we have to realize that the way we deal with the stress is very, very important. And drinking water, exercise, eating properly, sleeping. Sleeping, if you're not getting enough sleep, your stress will never be improved, because you're always in a state of fatigue. So that's important. Sleeping is important, nutrition is important, exercise is important, walking outside, drinking your water, talking to each other. And the last thing, remember, we have somebody who we can take our problems to. God is always in our lives. So no matter what stress we have, we know we can take it to God and leave it there. And that's one of the biggest things that we have, especially faith-believing persons, Christians, because we have the opportunity to take what bothers us and leave it, knowing that somebody will work it out for us. I'm not sure I'm still on. I don't know if I'm muted or whatever, because